Hello students, this is Priyanka Bagchi from SVM Sinidih, and today I'm back again with the explanation of rest some points of the story, glimpses of the past. We have done already so many things of the story, so many points we have already discussed. Things are given here. Rest some points we will discuss today and complete discussion. Here comes the points, and you all must remember that we have done these important periods, and today we will start from here. The sparks, and the period is between 1855 and 1857. The sparks period talks about an era when the peasant lost their patience. They had to pay heavy taxes and were devoid of land. In 1855, the Santals felt oppressed because of new land rules. Heavy taxes and oppression by moneylenders, landlords, revenue officials were the main reason for the rising of the rebellion. On 30th June 1855, two Santhal rebels, Sinidih and Kanhu Murmu, mobilized 10,000 Santals and declared a rebellion against British colonists. Sinidih Murmu had accumulated about 10,000 Santals to run parallel government against British rule. They massacred Europeans and their supporters. Army men faced discrimination too in promotion and salary. When the British Army men were withdrawing high salaries and fast promotions, Indians were getting a pittance and slow promotion. There was anguish among them about their hit on Indian customs and cultures. They wanted to uproot the British rule. The uniforms of rebellion's sepoy were stripped off disrespectfully. Out of extreme anger, Sepoy Mangal Pandey attacked the adjutant of his regiment and was sentenced to death by hanging. But among those barbaric British, few had care for Indians and Indian cultures, so they warned the Brahmin soldiers that the grease that was used on the bullet which they had to bite was made from the fat of cow and pig. The frustration was out of control. Soon the new movement started by the people of India, and that movement was known as Chapati movement and Lotus movement. Under Chapati movement, thousands of chapatis were made and they were sent to the nearby villages, post offices, police stations, and were sent by the chowkidars. The sequence was that when the chapatis were given to some other persons, they would make some more chapatis and distribute to some other people, and so on. The movement flourished unexpectedly and covered thousands of miles from Narmada River in the south to the Nepal border in the north. In a very short span, the Chapati movement had spread across the country. The British were terrified of this movement, but they couldn't do anything because the movement was clueless for the Angrez. In Lotus movement, lotus flower was handed over to people from every village and city. This was also clueless, as it was also a clueless war strategy for the British by the Indians. Only an ominous slogan was whispered in everybody's ears saying, सब लाल हो जाएगा, while the lotus was distributed. So these movements were actually a symbol that the emperor and patriots took steps to take revenge, and they wanted their assistance and response to those acts were their positive reply that they were ready to drive the Angrez back. So this is the point we have discussed here, the sparks. Now coming to the next point, revolt, and the period is 1857. So the first freedom movement started in 1857 in Meerut. Britishers called it mutiny. It took a violent turn in Meerut. Then the fire of Sepoy marched towards Delhi under the patronage of Bahadur Shah. The movement reached far and wide. Later, landlords deprived of their lands also joined it to uproot the British Raj. Coming to the next point, the fight for freedom, 1857. The fight for freedom also ignited the anguish of former rulers like Begum Hazrat, whose estate was seized. Maulvi Ahmedullah of Faizabad motivated the fellow countrymen to wage war against oppressors, the British. The rebellions raised their voices from every nook and corner, whether it was Lucknow or Bareilly or Kanpur or Allahabad or many more. The rulers like Azimullah Khan, Tatya Tope, Peshwa Nana Sahib organized themselves to face the wrath of British rule. The fighters became the patrons of the sovereignty of India. They stood fast to give a tough fight to the onslaughters who had taken away their motherland and exploiting every means to make money. On the battlefield, 80-year-old Kumar Singh, hit by a bullet in his hand, cut that injured hand himself and offered that into the water of Ganga river, saying, "Mother Ganga, this is my last offering to you." He fought bravely in the battlefield and led his life for liberating his land. So this much is the discussion today, people, and the chapter also, the discussion of the chapter also comes to an end. The points I discussed today, I will show you. All these things are given in the book with pictures. When in course of time, when you will read the chapter one by one, you will go through the pictures, the speech bubbles, which will help you to understand the picture. These are the period you can see which I just talked about, this Santhal rebellion. This is that period. You can see. Then this frustration among the Sepoy. This is the picture of Mangal Pandey, how they were not getting salaries, high salaries, they were not getting all luxuries, while the British, they were getting all luxuries and everything fulfilled. This is the scene when among those brutal Angrez, those brutal British, one or two who had care for the Indians, and they disclosed how fat of animals was used in the while making the bullets. Okay, and this is the site of that roti, the chapati movement, and this is the site of the lotus movement. So imagine the situation, the mentality of those patriots, how they were sacrificing their lives to bring freedom to India. Okay, these are the things in this page. Also you can see the revolt given very beautifully, how the men were the patriots, the people of India were revolting against British rule. They just took it a promise that they would drive the British back to their country. This is the picture of that 80-year-old man, Veer Kunwar Singh, who himself cut his hand and offered that hand into the water of Ganga river. So imagine how brave they were, how brave our patriots were. So this much for today, students, and these things you will learn: vocabulary, the short summary of the whole chapter is also given. You will go through the summary also. Thank you.